We are back on MorningLine. Nick Barris here, along with Dr. Alice Hoyt, who is a allergy expert from the Asthma, Sinus, and Allergy program at Vanderbilt. And all right, I'm trying to think of what we haven't perhaps covered just with regard to folks. Is there a frontier where allergy treatments are going? And I'm sure you guys would be looking at that. What is the next step, or where do we stand on cutting edge, treatments for folks?
So are you talking about allergy shots?
Could be allergy shots, medicines in general, or Right, so allergy is a multi-billion-dollar industry because there's so many people who suffer, 40 million Americans. Let me ask you that on that front, do you believe that it's getting worse? Are we finding more allergy shots? And why do you think that is, that we're seeing Americans getting more allergies than ever before?
There's been tremendous changes in our environment. From humans being more hygienic, so our immune systems are not stimulated in the same ways that they were even 100 years ago. You think about it, we wear shoes. We wear shoes. For thousands of years, shoes were limited, and still in third world countries, they don't necessarily have shoes. And so their skin is being exposed to tremendous amounts of bacteria, parasites, and their immune system is constantly being stimulated. We are a much more sterile environment in developed nations. We have clean water, we have medications, and so our environment has changed dramatically. We're inside more. Interesting, the same arm of the immune system that deals with allergies is the same arm that deals with parasites, but we don't have parasites in the United States. And so is that arm of the immune system just left bored, and idle minds are the devil's workshop? So we don't really know what causes why all of this is happening, but it is getting worse. More and more people have allergies, whether it's food allergy, allergic rhinitis, asthma, all of these different allergic diseases. So yes, I think it's getting worse. Ways to make it better, there are better therapies coming out, such as tablets to put under the tongue instead of doing the shots, and more tablets are coming out. I mentioned before the break that with allergy shots, we can desensitize you to multiple allergens, because we can
40 or more.
40 or more. We can because we can put them in different vials, and we use concentrations that are evidence-based at Vanderbilt. We're all about evidence-based, personalized medicine. But with these tablets, usually you can only desensitize someone to one or two different allergens. So we have a long way to go there, but we're going in that direction to make the treatments more palatable, for lack of a better term.
Right. Do you think it would be advised to parents with young children to not be so cautious about making sure they're always clean, and let them play in the backyard, let them eat a mud pie? I mean, what I mean, because that's kind of what I was like. And these days you see so many mothers and fathers walking around with a bottle of that sanitizer, constantly doing that to the kids' hands. And I'm just wondering if we're just insulating ourselves, and at some point you're going to be exposed and you're not building up any immunity.
Well, like many things, there's a pendulum, right? And so perhaps the pendulum has swung too far in the way of cleanliness. On top of that, how do these cleaning products actually affect us? The skin is the biggest immune organ. And your skin actually has cells that, if I were to put something on top of my skin, cream, peanut butter, whatever, they're immune cells that will put their little fingers up and interact with what's right there and bring it back into the skin, back into the immune organ. And so our skin needs to be intact. It needs to be a strong barrier. But when we think about these different cleaning products, detergents, soaps, all these different things, how could they dry out the skin barrier, erode the skin barrier, so that that immune system is left sort of open without a strong barrier, and then things get a little haywire?
That makes sense. I just think, don't overdo it.
Don't overdo it.
Let's take a quick call from Doug. Doug, go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions for the doctor. I lived in Germany for 10 years, but I grew up in a rural area here, and I worked in tobacco patches and hay fields, and I was outside all the time. Never had one problem with allergies or anything, and I moved to Germany and lived there for 10 years, but as soon as I came back from Germany, my allergies were like off the hook. I've never been tested, but I do take medication during the season, and I'd just like to know if your immune system gets lower or something when you get older in age. And the other question I have is, what is the difference between the allergy medicines that have the D, like Claritin D and Allegra D, rather than just the plain Claritin or whatever, and what do you recommend? And I'd sure appreciate anything you could help me out with. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks for calling. So I'll answer your second question first. That is an excellent question. He was asking, what does that D mean? D stands for decongestant.
Okay.
And so that's an extra medication added to the antihistamine. So it's actually 2 active ingredients in that one pill. And the decongestant works to sort of shrink up the vessels so that you don't have so much swelling and mucus. But just like with other decongestants like Afrin, you can have some rebound.
Okay.
So what I recommend is that if a patient is having dramatic amounts of congestion and they have a wedding, they have public speaking, they have something we really need to get them dried up quickly, then sure, use a D product for a couple of days, but then switch back to the non-D products. And also in the D products, sometimes they don't have as much of the antihistamine. So you might have an Allegra D that's actually a 60 milligrams of the antihistamine as opposed to the full 180 milligrams. And this is why the allergy aisle is so confusing.
I know. So how many? Okay, and we only have about 2 minutes, and I know you want to hit his Germany question, but
yes.
How many milligrams do you want typically?
180.
180.
Of
Good.
Allegra.
Of Allegra.
10 of Zyrtec. 10 of Claritin. 5 of Zysol.
What if you take 180 of Allegra? What if you took 180 of Allegra?
That 180 of Allegra is appropriate. 180 of Zyrtec is not appropriate.
Is not appropriate. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right,
It's not
right.
appropriate. Follow the milligram.
Follow
well, okay, and just
read the box.
what it says. But it is confusing. Real quick, we just have a minute and a half.
Germany.
He's right. He goes to Germany, comes back, and all of a sudden he's allergic.
Totally happens.
Really, your body changes.
You lost your tolerance.
Yes.
It happens in college kids. So like say they have cats at home, then they go to college, and then they come back and they're just miserable when they get home. It's because their body's not used to it anymore. And for whatever reason, they have this allergic antibody to fill in the blank what he had, and it roars up.
Regionally speaking, I know you were telling me you went to LSU and Virginia and you've moved to different places. I came all the way from Oregon. I went to school at the University of Oregon. Rhododendrons in Eugene everywhere. Pollen is this thick in the spring, and I never got allergies. I moved here. Bam! I go to Fall Creek Falls or something. It's just it's a different type of pollen.
I hear that. I moved to Nashville last year.
Did you notice any difference? You came here from Virginia.
I came here from Charlottesville,
difference?
Virginia. It wasn't a tremendous difference, but from what patients are telling me, they move here from all parts of the country, all parts of the world, and just the symptoms that ensue here. So I think it has something to do with. I mean, we have beautiful outdoor spaces. We're kind of near the mountains. We have different weather.
It's even worse between Nashville and Knoxville. I mean, I will go to Knoxville in the spring, and the allergies are magnified. And it's like you said. You got the Smokies and so much vegetation. Well, you're awesome. Listen, we're going to put out the number here when we come back from the break for the Asthma, Sinus, and Allergy program. I bet you're busy over there this time of year.
Yes.
Doctor,
but not
pleasure.
too busy.
Thank you for coming on. Maybe we can do this again every allergy season, or if there's any exciting new developments, tell Kristen Smart and she'll line it up.
Okay.
Nice to have you on. We'll take a break. I'll have a programming note as well as the number for the contact information over there at Vanderbilt. We'll be right back.